Shawn was one of the children created by the Dead Mansion project. He was the pinnacle of their product they had produced so far. He was top-notch in infiltration, weapon skills, and assassination. As a product, he was on a completely different level in all sense. Shawn was meant to be sold to a top client of the Orphanage, a notorious Yakuza organization in Japan. But there was a mix-up in the delivery, and instead of Japan, he ended up in Korea. We could see a kid version of Shawn asking for help in Japanese while being in Korea. The director recalls that it's been 5 years since that mishap, and he had almost thought Shawn was dead, so they gave up on him. But now, this guy who looks more like a filthy rich mafia boss than a father is thrilled they found him. He quickly tells the sister to bring Shawn back as soon as possible by any means necessary because he can't wait any longer. The woman, whom we've been calling sister, lets down her black veil, revealing her dead eyes and huge scar on her forehead. She quickly adheres to the order, saying she will proceed with the retrieval operation immediately. This lady in question goes by the name Rachel. As soon as she drops her act as sister, my god, this woman looks absolutely creepy, dressed in a tight, black, shiny suit. She's not holding back a single bit in flexing her big guns. She makes it clear that she will drag Shawn back, even if she has to take him out by force. This woman is the Dead Mansion instructor, and her specialty is still unknown. However, the director quickly tells her to chill because he needs Shawn unharmed, and she doesn't need those guns either. The lady quickly gets embarrassed and starts picking up her robe to put it back on, muttering about how she was just getting into character. In the next scene, we see Kwon Byung-woo, Joseph's father, bowing his head to apologize to Yun-ho's mother and telling her that he has no excuses, and that it was his fault for not raising his son better. He promises to cover all medical expenses, mental damages, and any other compensation she might need. But she flat out states that nothing will change with just an apology because this isn't something that can be resolved with words alone. The students nearby are startled to see this scary-looking man bowing his head like this, and Kwon Byung-woo finally lifts his head. Questioning why it didn't work, he turns around with a blank face, saying he will be taking his leave. The woman is utterly baffled by his strange behavior. In response, Kwon Byung-woo covers his face with a handkerchief and reveals that he was here to make amends, but since they can't resolve anything through discussion, he will leave because efficiency is key in all matters. He then walks forward towards his car, telling the woman that he also knows other ways to sort out this mess because he's quite the expert in these matters. With those parting words, his car zooms off. He then complains to his manager about how disgustingly stingy and smelly that place was, insisting they tear it all down and build a mixed-use complex instead. The Deadeye Man then asks about Shawn, or we can also call him Shawn, and asks his manager if they have taken care of that kid. The manager lets him know their people are already en route, and the secretary will ring them once the job's done. Kwon Byung-woo just nods and heads to Songam University Songam Hospital. Inside, we find Joseph all banged up, wrapped in bandages like a mummy. He tells his dad the kid who messed him up was no average Joe. He kept rambling about some 3 engraved principles or something. His dad raises an eyebrow, asking if this is the new trend among kids. Joseph just shakes his head, saying he hasn't a clue. Before Joseph can spill more, his dad cuts him off and gives a cold stare to the woman, humbly requesting the nurse to give them some alone time. Once the lady is out of the way, he slaps his son hard right across his face, just like any typical father. After slapping Joseph's face, Byung-woo lets him have it. What's really grinding his gears isn't just that his son picked a fight, bullied some kids, and caused one to jump out of a window. No, what's really bothering him is that Joseph didn't clean up the mess afterward, leaving a trail of evidence behind. He drills into Joseph that the basics of the job are to avoid doing things twice, meaning don't screw up and leave evidence for others to find. Byung-woo tells him to watch his father closely and learn from this chance to fix things as this is how adults handle things. Meanwhile, Shawn is taking a beating from a group of goons sent by Byung-woo. The leader, decked out in gloves, watches as his lackeys drag the injured boy from the ground. With a scowl, he delivers a series of stinging slaps to Shawn's face, not stopping until the boy collapses from sheer exhaustion. The glasses-wearing thug, looking down at Shawn with a sneer, says, "You might have taken down a few kids, but you're nothing against adults." They grab one of Shawn's arms, and the burly lackey yanks it straight, holding it firm. The leader then places his foot on Shawn's arm and applies all his weight, leaving the poor kid writhing in agony. Before they leave, they make sure Shawn knows this is payback for the humiliation and beating he dealt to their young master, Joseph. They're leaving him alive just so he can stew over his mistakes. As dusk settles in, Shawn sits there, snapping his shoulder back with a sneer. He chuckles at how the goons couldn't even tell the difference between a dislocated and a broken arm, despite their big talk about being adults. The beating he received, well, it was nothing compared to the thrashings Aunt Rachel used to dish out. Shawn's frustrated that he can't tap into his full strength without orders, but he's relieved knowing Joseph won't be bullying anyone else. As he heads out, grumbling to himself, he runs into Yun-ho's mother. She recognizes him immediately and asks, "What happened to you?" With a warm hello, Shawn greets her and is soon invited to dinner. Yun-ho's mother has prepared a feast, urging him to eat his fill. When Shawn hears this command to eat, he dives into the food like a wild beast. He is driven by an instinct to comply with the care of someone he now sees as his parent. The mother then gently instructs Shawn to drink some water, pointing out that it'll help him digest better. Shawn follows her advice, downing the water with a hearty gulp and letting out a satisfied burp afterward. He thanks her for the meal, and she smiles, happy to see him after such a long time. Shawn's mood turns serious as he asks about Yun-ho's condition. In response, she assures him that the surgery went smoothly and that Yun-ho is doing fine. She's hopeful for his recovery, even though things are tough right now. Then her strength seems to crumble. Her hand starts to shake, and tears flow freely. She sobs, feeling weak compared to her son and helpless as a mother. Her heartfelt wish spills out of her tongue. She wants to destroy everyone who hurt Yun-ho, especially Joseph's father, and tear them all apart. Well, it looks like Shawn has finally found a reason to unleash his powers at full force against those jerks. As the lady turns around to apologize for her sudden outburst, Shawn's already long gone. The scene then shifts to Byung-woo's construction company. Inside the building, the father of that piece of poop son raises a toast to celebrate the record profit they've racked up in the third quarter of this year. He's giving a heartfelt thanks to all his employees, saying it's all thanks to them that Byung-woo Construction has come this far. Among the crowd of employees, we spot one of the same hefty guys who had beaten up Shawn earlier. Near him stands a waiter who suspiciously looks like Shawn. The waiter approaches the man and offers to pour him a drink. As soon as the man says, "Pour some," the waiter smashes the bottle right over this jerk's face. The bottle shatters, leaving the wine and glass scattered through the air. Another one of the goons appears and tries to attack our boy from the back. But Shawn is ready. He shoves those glasses he was holding into the guy's hands like he's handing over a pair of gloves. Then, with a brutal swing of his leg, he kicks the jerk right in the face. Next, Shawn grabs some forks and knives and hurls them at the guards with deadly precision. They hit their targets perfectly. It doesn't take long for everyone to catch on that something's going down. Before they can do anything, a bunch of the black-suited guys are already out, and people are screaming about a blonde kid who's causing all this mess. The mention of a blonde kid rings a bell for the company director. Meanwhile, Shawn is hiding under a table, knife in hand. He zips past everyone, slicing through them like they're nothing more than cucumbers with that tiny knife of his. He's sticking to what he's been taught. A parent's words are absolute. He can't ignore the tears and pleas of the mother who wanted everyone torn apart, along with that father, so he's doing exactly what he's been told. He grabs a tablecloth, and before the ragtag crew can get close, uses it as a distraction. He throws the table right at their faces, crushing them under its weight and leaving them screaming their lungs out. Just then, a knife flies in from behind, but he ducks quickly, and the knife hits one of the black-suited guys in front instead. The one who just threw the dagger seems like the same guy with the black gloves, and he's pretty impressed with Shawn's reflexes. He's also surprised to see that the arm he broke is still working. Before he can finish playing around with those gloves, Shawn grabs the guy's hand and slaps him hard across the face. He expertly locks the guy's arm and snaps the bone inside, coolly telling him, "That's how you break an arm." As the cocky guy sprawls on the ground, a bullet zips past Shawn's face, grazing him closely. The shooter is Byung-woo, standing on the first floor, looking disappointed for missing his shot. Shawn quickly raises his hand and calls out that it's tough to hit from that distance unless you're a real pro. Byung-woo curiously asks who this kid is. He remembers that Korean kids these days are into something called crew, so he asks if Shawn is part of that too. To which Shawn responds that he doesn't know what the heck that crew thing means, but if Byung-woo is asking which crew he belongs to, then he proudly states that he is with the Yun-ho snack shop. The mention of Yun-ho snacks rings a bell for the zombie-like dude, who promptly asks if Shawn is talking about that smelly alleyway junk food place. With a sneer, the man shoves the gun barrel right between Shawn's eyes and asks if the woman had ordered him to kill him. Shawn smirks and says he's absolutely wrong because all she did was tell him to tear and crush everyone to pieces. While the zombie is trying to figure out what the heck Shawn is saying, My guy moves with lightning speed, knocks the gun away, and gives the guy a solid slap. That one slap was enough to scramble Byung-woo's brain, and with Shawn's final punch, the dude hits the ground, his face a bloody mess, nose and mouth bleeding from the impact. Shawn makes it clear he's not here to assist anyone, he's just following his parents' absolute commands. With that, he turns to walk away while the guy on the ground keeps ranting about how he should have taken Shawn out when he had the chance and regrets not sticking to his own motto of leaving no work unfinished. Shawn grabs the gun, aims it up at the chandelier, and tells the guy to stop blabbering about pointless stuff. He fires, and the chandelier starts to fall, crashing down and crushing the man, just as the mother wished for. Shawn walks away, shaking his head and muttering how both the father and son are really just the same. We're back in the hospital, where the nurse asks Joseph if he's feeling any better. The arrogant guy just scoffs and asks why he'd be here if he was doing well. The nurse comments that she's heard school violence can be pretty intense these days, but she's never seen anyone as badly hurt as him before. She wonders if the kid who hit him must have been a real expert, though even for high schoolers, this is pretty extreme. As she squats down to pick up her things, we get a glimpse of her giant rear. I ought to know the name of this hospital, if y'all catch my meaning. Wink wink. She then grabs the injection and asks Joseph what he was discussing with his father earlier about some free principles. Noticing the weird color of the injection, Joseph questions what the heck she's injecting him with. The nurse then pulls off her mask and reassures him not to worry, saying that as long as she only uses half, he won't die. The nurse turns out to be Rachel in disguise, who was finally here to take our guy, and she starts pressing against his chest, grilling him about those 3 absolute principles he mentioned. The guy gets genuinely scared by her death glare and tells her to just get the hell out. That's when Rachel pulls off her fake hair and stops playing games. She straightforwardly demands he reveal the name of the kid who messed him up like that. We also find out her specialties, which are disguise, infiltration, interrogation, and of course, add a little spice, torture.
Thanks for watching the latest part from the voice of Manhwa. Subscribe for more content and don't forget to comment below what you want to see in the future. Like and share for more.